everyone, it's Mouse again, and this is this week's garden tour. I've got quite a bit of progress, not a lot of harvest, but a little bit, and I'm kind of excited to show it to you today. So we're going to start off with my hanging baskets. The petunias are doing great. The pink ones, well, fuchsia ones are really exploding, and some of the pots and the royal velvets are exploding in others. The yellow butterish white ones are doing okay, and then I have one pot over on my shepherd's hook that the whole pot just looks kind of horrible, and I don't know what's going on with that because they're all getting the same amount of rain and water and they're just doing weird. I had a big old pile here of trimmings and weeds and stuff that I'm either going to mulch them in or I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them. Oh, it looks like my neighbor left me some lettuce roots and stuff, which is cool because then I'll just use them in either the compost or I'll shred them when we mow the grass. But yeah, here's that one that looks horrible. Like the petunias just look really bad. But the euphorbia in that one's doing really well, which is annoying that the euphorbia in that one is doing well, but the euphorbia in the rest of them look like non-existent. Like I think it's actually dying. Like that's how bad it looks. I don't know. Didn't exactly do what I wanted it to do, but it looks okay. My potatoes are blooming, which means I'm going to have potatoes. I'm excited by this. My zinnias are looking great. I finally have some colors other than the pink ones, which were the ones that I bought. I have a white one over here, which is one of the ones that I actually grew from seed. It's in bloom. It's really pretty. This is, which tomato is this? I don't remember. Let's see if we can find that plant tag. Probably not. Oh God. The echinaceas look really good. I did realize this week that in this echinacea there was a weed that I bought with the plant, and I pulled it out, or I actually cut it, and now this plant looks a lot better because it's actually getting some sun. And I've got some blossoms, so yay! What is this tomato? Let's see. Can I read this? Oh, pineapple pole. Which, I don't think that's what this is. Because the pineapple pole, it might be pineapple pole. I'm not really sure. I've got some suckers on these that are really big that I need to get rid of. Can I pull it? Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's a nice big sucker. I could put that in a pot and get another plant out of it, but I have no need for more tomato plants. I have enough. Heartbreakers Dora. I'm not sure what I think about this plant. I think this is a bush variety, and I not only think this is a bush variety, I think this is a patio variety, which I did not expect. So this cage is kind of superfluous. I'm probably going to take it off this week because, yeah, there's no point. Because I don't think it's going to get much taller than what it's already at. I think it's one of those that's meant to be in a container and set on your patio and give you a whole bunch of little paste tomatoes, which is cool, don't get me wrong, but not exactly what I was going for. I usually like to grow indeterminates in the beds, and then if I want to grow a determinate tomato, I'll grow it in a pot. But yep, I put one in the ground. Oops. Over here, I've got more suckers, and I thought I did really well pulling off some of these big ones before they got big, but apparently not. This is the speckled Roman. This is a paste tomato. I've got some on here that are getting a pretty good size. I don't know if you can see that with the sun and the shade. Yeah, you can see it. Getting there. And then over here, this is my great white. None of these are very big yet. But I do say yet, because great white should be huge. None of my broccoli is giving me any broccoli heads. I'm actually debating on harvesting all the leaves and just eating the leaves and saying screw broccoli, because it's just not doing well. Toss that over there. All right. My nasturtiums are great. They look amazing. I did spread the mulch on these two beds right here. And while I was spreading the mulch, I accidentally broke the main stalk for one of my nasturtiums. So there is a big open space in front of the Heartbreakers Dora, which is a little disheartening, but whatever, we'll make it work. This nasturtium, I'm not really sure why it's doing that. There we go, that's a little better. But it's got lots of orange blossoms. It looks really pretty. I love my nasturtiums this year. They look great. The Lemon Boy. I thought those were going to be small tomatoes. I don't think they're going to be small. I think I'm going to have some pretty decent yellow tomatoes, which is pretty awesome. My Uncle Wayne's, the one that I have, is doing really well. I don't have any fruit set on it yet, but I do have lots of blossoms. So hopefully I'll get something. That'd be nice. Be able to save some seeds from it. Again, these zinnias are so pretty. And the ones that I planted, not just the white, but the other colors are starting to bloom. So I may have some other colors in here soon. Oh, I've got another little one. Yeah, see right here? This should be like a fuchsia purple when it opens up and it's all pretty. So I'm really excited for those. And then this one, I believe, yeah, this is supposed to be green with envy. But that's a very yellow looking flower to me. Maybe the other ones will be a little greener. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, my plants are really healthy this year. They've got really thick main stalks. Usually they don't really get that thick until later in the summer. So I'm really excited about that. I am a little annoyed that they're not taller. It's end of June, and usually by end of June my tomatoes are at least to here already. And they're just not, which is kind of annoying. My sunflowers are doing great. So this is the Miss Mars. I've got one that's getting ready to open. You can kind of see the colors it's going to be. It's going to be so pretty. I'm really excited about that. This is one of my other shorter varieties, and it was doing so well. I've got 2 blossoms. One of them I actually already cut off. You can see down there. And it's on my kitchen table. Looking gorgeous, but that's what it looks like on the plant. Isn't that so cheery and fun? I love it. So pretty. Collards are doing great. That parsley that I thought was a cilantro is doing awesome. My kale is doing great. I really need to go through and harvest this bed like hard. Like, I think with the collards, I'm gonna harvest them all the way down to just the tiny leaves and really cut them back really, really hard. Just to give my eggplants some more sun. And harvesting out that sunflower that was the first to bloom helped a lot too, because it gave some more sun to this collard, which is tiny, but it's doing really well, so I'm okay with it. My parsley and thyme over here are doing really well, as is my lemon verbena, which is awesome. Then over here, yesterday, my mother was over and I harvested a big old bunch of Swiss chard for her because she really, really likes Swiss chard. And I only gave her 1 plant in her Mother's Day present, but yeah. Over here, my elephant ears are opening. So exciting. I've got a bunch of shoots coming up and I've got ears opening up and the mint's filling out. I'm actually going to be doing some mint tea probably today, actually. And then there's my corn. So this is the Martian Jewels. Yeah, Martian Jewels. It's supposed to be a purple husked sweet corn. So white kernels, but the husk is supposed to be purple. And you can see that in the color of the stalks. But I've already got tassels opening on it, which is a little strange because usually you don't get tassels opening until the plant's at its full height. And this is supposed to be a 6-foot corn stalk. And these are maybe 4 feet at the top of the tassel. Yeah, about 4 feet because I'm 6 foot. So, but I do have corn. See, there's little silks forming down there. And I might just do this. And then that, and then that. Get some pollen on here. So I get some corn. But yeah. This is one of my other sunflowers. It's really pretty. I wish I could harvest this one and put it in with the other harvested one that I got, but it's forking and I don't really want to cut it off and sacrifice this bloom so I'm just going to enjoy it outside. Got another one that's starting to open up. It's also forking. I think that's just this variety's habit, is that it forks, because all of them have forked. My blonde bell pepper is huge. It's getting there. I'm so excited. I have never actually gotten decent sized bell peppers in the garden before. So I'm actually really excited because it's getting bigger, which is great. I did buy a new cilantro plant. It has a little bit of dieback, but it is hot. But it is extremely shaded back here behind these sunflowers. So I think once it gets over its little bit of a shock, it'll be fine. This is another variety of sunflower. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's doing really well. It's nice and tall. I'm excited about that. The other bell peppers haven't put on peppers yet. I don't even think this, well, no, it is peppers, but it's not, they're not even close yet. Carrots are doing well. They seem to be liking being mulched, which is great. I have a mini sunflower here. This one should be really short, so I don't think it's going to get much taller than that, which is fine. I am going to plant, it's a type of squash that's used to make squash pie. It's not butternut, and it's not, I want to say it's Sugar Yard or something like that. I gotta look again at the seeds. I'm gonna plant those on one of these, and then I have a cucumber that I'm gonna plant. But I was waiting a little bit till that this side got a little taller so that it would shade it a little bit, because they're seedlings and it's starting to get towards the heat of the summer. Watermelon's doing good. I'm actually able to start weaving, which means it'll grow up my trellis, which is awesome. Yeah, it's starting to tendril up for me. This is my butternut squash. Yes, and it's starting to get a little taller too. It's starting to grow up. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm just gonna harvest all of these broccoli leaves and just eat the leaves, because it's frustrating. Because I should have gotten something by now. It's called early sprouting, and it doesn't even look like it's gonna sprout for me, which is super annoying. But whatever, the leaves will be tasty. My American Giant hybrid sunflowers are getting nice and tall. This one's doing some weird, like, growing in an S fashion, which is a bit strange, but whatever. I've got some flower heads in here, but they're still really tightly closed, so I don't think they're done growing up. I think the reason why my sunflowers are doing weird things is because I am a horrible person. I never plant sunflowers. I never direct seed them. I've always done them by starting them inside because I'm anxious to see what they look like. And I think that's a detriment to them actually being super tall and pretty. But I can't help it because I like having them inside, because even without the flowers, just their leaves being so big, even when they're seedlings, is cheery to see in the early part of the year. But yeah, so there's my garden for this week. Oh, the pineapple sage and the lavender. You can see it under here in this American Mammoth. This pineapple sage is so yummy, and it smells so good. I love the scent of it. I actually like it more than I like the regular sage. Like, to the point where I'm actually thinking about cutting this sage back to like one stalk, and if that doesn't kill it, fine, but if it does, I don't care, because I want to give more room to this pineapple sage because I love the scent of it so much, and it tastes so good. My lavender is in bloom. It smells like an old lady, but it's great for pollinators. I've seen lots of bees on it when I've sat out here. It's awesome. I haven't been having a lot of issues with, you can see one flapping, I don't know if I caught it on camera, with the cabbage whiteflies. Yep, you can see it right there. They haven't been decimating my brassicas. I don't know if that's because I've been not super diligent, but I've sprayed the plants down a couple times. Like, I think twice this whole summer. With BT, which means as soon as the baby caterpillars hatch out of their eggs and they go to munch on a leaf, they die, because that's what BT does. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'm happy because I have brassicas and it's June, and usually by now they're riddled with cabbage worms. So I'm okay with this. I mean, I've got a little bit of cabbage damage, but like I said, I think it's because the baby caterpillars hatch and they take a few bites and then they die. So it's got like 1 or 2 holes, which, I mean, you can eat them if they're covered in holes, but getting the worms off of them when they're already Swiss cheesy is kind of disgusting. They don't feel very nice. It's like, it makes my skin crawl just thinking about touching a cabbage worm. I did learn a new trick this year though, that if you have a bunch of cabbage worms and you still want to eat the produce, if you soak the produce in salt water, it doesn't affect the plant because you've already harvested it. It's not growing, but cabbages and brassicas are actually originally a coastal plant, so salt water shouldn't harm them anyways. But what it does is the cabbage worms are like, ah, and they run away. So they end up crawling up the side of your sink, and then you just grab some gloves and throw them away, or dispatch them of how you please. So I did that because I did have a little bit before I sprayed with BT this first time, and that worked really well. Like, it was really nice, and you just use regular old kosher salt. You don't have to use anything fancy, and they don't like it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm really happy so far with what I've got for growth. Tomatoes are doing well. Like I said, they're just really short. Normally they're already at the second to last rung by now, and they're just not, which is very strange. I don't know if it's because we had a lot of rain, and then no rain, and that's when I planted them. And then we've had thunderstorms, but the thunderstorms don't really, they're not good for watering. They're like a deluge and the water just runs off. So I don't know what's going on there, but I do have them on drip, which is why everything's nice and green and lush, because it's getting water every day. So 20 minutes, and the far bed is getting every 8 inches, 1 gallon per hour at 20 minutes. So they're getting, what is that, 1/3 of a gallon? So, I mean, that's not a small amount of water, and it's going right to the roots. It's not evaporating. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm really happy. Really, really happy. I've got a little bit more cocoa shell mulch to spread. I did spread 2 bags this week. I'm probably going to spread 2 more after I do some major harvesting on this bed in particular. And then we'll see. We'll see what we got. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited for potatoes because I did do something different this year. Normally I do 2 or 3, or in the past I've been really bad and done 5 seed potatoes per one of those pots, which is a bit much. This year I was very good. I did not buy a whole bunch of different varieties. I bought 1 variety, 2 packs, and I put 1 seed potato per pot. And apparently that actually is going to increase my yield. We'll see. It's a bit of an experiment. I'm always happy with whatever I get for potatoes because they're always delicious, especially if we end up eating them the day we harvest them. They're so sweet. I don't know what it is about potatoes or peas or carrots or anything, but the second you pull them out of the ground, they start to lose their sugars. Like they go into storage mode, I guess. And if you eat them the day you harvest them, especially within like the first 2 or 3 hours, they're so sweet and their complexity is just so different. So I'm excited. Like I said, I've got blossoms and they're forming. But yeah, it seems to be going really well. Oh yeah, here's an update on my ice plant. This has bloomed a couple times, which is why it's got some crunchies. But the plant itself seems to be nice and happy. I'm not watering this very often because it is a succulent. So I'm letting it completely dry out. And then I'm flooding the pot a little bit. My mouse fell over. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Later this week, why is this open? Interesting. I'll have to fix that. That's very strange. I don't remember opening that. Huh. Later this week, though, I am going to try to give you guys a tour of my backyard, which none of you have seen unless you've actually been to my house. It's very different from my front yard. There are absolutely, well, no, I take that back. there is one edible plant in my backyard, and that's a kiwi vine that used to be planted up here, but I pulled it out because I didn't like where I put it. And it's just in a really big pot now up against our fence. But yeah, hopefully you guys will see that this week. If not, then I'll see you guys next week for another garden update on what's been harvested, what's doing really well, what's not doing well, what's not doing what I expected, and what is just strange. But we'll see. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one. Bye.